Hello, this is a tutorial for the Gimp. Actually, this is part one of two tutorials for the Gimp, where I'm going to show you a very simple effect, which there are already tutorials for available. But I'm going to show you two different ways of actually going about this. It's something that people use the Gimp for or Photoshop for quite often. Very simply, just cutting out a figure or an object, in this case an irregular object, and then pasting that onto the desired background. So we've got this figure here, a statue of Jim Larkin, which I took in Dublin, and I'm going to cut it out and superimpose it onto this kind of fiery background, so we get the effect of Jim Larkin sort of summoning this fire. So that should look pretty cool when we're finished. So I'm just going to minimize that for the moment. Now, as I said, there are going to be two ways that I'm going to show you to do this. The first way is probably the most common that you'll see tutorials based on. I'm just going to run through that very quickly, and it's by using what we call the intelligent scissors. So all we're going to do is quite literally cut around the figure, and that'll be the job done. So first we need to go to the scissor select tool up in the Gimp dialog, and I've already selected that, but if I just click on that, and what we're very simply going to do is just click at various points around the figure, and that will give the scissors the path that they need to follow. So if I just show you how that works, actually before I do that, I'm just going to make this image a little bit bigger. You should zoom in on the figure that you're attempting to cut out, because one of the problems with the intelligent scissors is that it can be a bit fiddly, particularly with very irregular images. So I'm just going to zoom in, and it won't matter if we need to scroll up and down, it won't deselect the scissors or anything, so that won't be a problem. Okay, so as I was saying, we just need to click at the various points, and for each point we click on, it will designate an area that the scissors will have to go to when it finally cuts out. So we just very simply go around clicking at the various points. Now of course things like the fingers here take several points because they're quite fiddly, but once we get onto the longer areas, I'll show you a very quick trick that's useful with the intelligent scissors, whereby if I just want to click down here, you can see this line that's come up, and it shows that what would happen if we had a straight line going from here to here. And if I was to cut that, it might look like this area here is going to be ignored or cut out. But what the intelligent scissors will actually do is then bend that line around the shape, because it will follow the contrasting of the kind of grey metallic colour and the white background. So if I just show you that in action, if I drop it there, and you can see what it's done, it's very cleanly, quite impressively actually, just followed that line perfectly. So then we're just going to carry on making our way around the statue. See, and it will just fold its way around. Now there are going to be areas like where I am now where the contrast isn't as great. Obviously Gimp can't see a statue and a building in the background, all it sees is colours. So it's occasionally going to pick up a little bit. If we see here, if I just zoom in on that so you can see what I'm talking about. Here it's just jumped up ever so slightly, so it's taken a little bit of the background. Now if we want to be really picky, and actually here we've kind of cut a bit of the arm out. One of the good things about the intelligent scissors is that it's actually correctable. So if I was to just click at any point along this line, I can create a new point and drag that to the desired location, and it's not having a great effect here, but if I drag this one down a little bit, it's just to tell the scissors that they've gone wrong slightly. Anyway, so we can just carry on going along like this. Now I think that's pretty straightforward, so for your benefit, so you don't see me cutting out the whole statue, I'm just going to pause the tutorial briefly. Okay, so about 1 minute later, so it hasn't taken me that long, I've nearly finished it. So we're just going to join up those final dots, and you'll see that when I go to make that final link, the plus sign turns into a kind of infinity sign, I guess, or a Venn diagram, or whatever that's supposed to represent. But we've got two circles next to each other, so I'm just going to click that, and that joins up our final bit, and we've got a linked image all the way around, but at the moment we can still see the selection. So what I'm going to do now is just click somewhere in the middle of the area I've just selected, and we'll see we get the ants marching to show that we've selected that part. Now all I'm going to do with this, quite simple. If I right click it, I'll get the menu dialog come up, and we're just going to go to edit and copy. And what that's done, very simply, it's just copied everything that we've just cut out. Now if I take that to my fire background, this really is quite simple. It is just going to be a matter of, I'm just going to get rid of Jim, we don't need him. This is just a matter of repeating almost the step of just right clicking there and edit, and instead of copying, we're just going to paste into. And what that will do is, as it says there, paste the content of the clipboard into the current selection. And there we have our Jim Larkin. Now up here at the moment it says we've got a floating selection, and it tells us it's the pasted layer. If I right click on this and then click new layer, it will just automatically turn that into a new pasted layer. So that's quite simple. And then the final trick that we need to do is just click on the move tool up here, back in the Gimp dialog, and we can move Jim to wherever we think it's going to be suitable. Now because Jim doesn't have feet, because he's a statue and I took the picture at the wrong angle, I'm just going to be a bit cheeky and leave his feet underneath the image so we can't see that. And that is that. I mean, it is as simple as that. The Intelligent Scissors are quite good for this, but if I just zoom in, hopefully you'll see why I don't think this is perfect. We've got a magnifying tool up here, so I might as well show you that. If we click, sorry, I'll zoom in on his fingers, you'll see that sometimes the Intelligent Scissors will, you know, if you're not too careful, you're still going to get little bits of the background in. You're going to end up chopping off bits of fingers. You can still see a little bit of the kind of the background of, you know, some Dublin buildings just very very faintly against his arm, that where the Intelligent Scissors don't cut quite flush to the actual image itself, and some of it can be quite blocky and quite choppy. So that's my main grudge against the Intelligent Scissors, is it does leave these kind of residue sometimes. Now we could clean that up with an eraser, and that wouldn't take us too long, but that leads me quite comfortably into the next tutorial. So thank you for watching this. I hope you found it useful, and I should say actually, if you want to then merge these layers so one falls on top of the other and you've just got one layer instead of the two, you right click on your pasted layer, just go to merge down, and then bang, it's right there, everything there. But that's really all you need to know. Thank you for watching it, and I hope you found it helpful.